Okay, fine. So we were looking at different efficiencies, one being the nozzle efficiency and the other one being the blade efficiency and all. So using this, actually, we'll try to obtain the expression for your degree of reaction. Now, what I have taken is I have taken a combined velocity triangle. So what you see on the right hand side is a combined velocity triangle for an impulse reaction turbine. So your A, B, D is the inlet velocity triangle, and similarly A, F, E, sorry, A, D, F is the exit velocity triangle, and I have the two components, VF, that is flow component, and the whirl component for the inlet triangle, and I similarly have the flow component and the whirl component for the exit velocity triangle. Everything is represented. Now, I am going to consider the exit velocity triangle ADF, and I want to apply the cosine rule. That is your V. So I want expression in terms of cos beta 2. Okay, I want to go with respect to the beta 2. So using the cosine rule, so the expression is your V2 square is equal to VR2 square plus U square minus 2 VR2 into U into cos beta 2. I am calling that as equation number 5. Now, I am going to define a speed ratio with respect to my relative velocity. Okay, already we have defined a speed ratio with respect to unit velocity, that was phi. Phi is equal to u by v1. Now, similarly, I am going to define phi 2 as u by vr2, or I am going to write u is equal to phi 2 into vr2. Now, wherever you have the blade velocity or peripheral velocity, I will replace that with the speed coefficient and the corresponding relative velocity. So if I do that, my equation 5 becomes V2 square is equal to VR2 square plus phi 2 square into VR2 square minus 2 VR2 into phi 2 into VR2 into cos beta 2. So I'm going to take VR2 square common because VR2 square. So VR2 into VR2. So VR2 square is there. If I write that, so V2 square is equal to VR2 square into 1 plus pi 2 square minus 2 pi into cos beta 2. I got this expression. And I'm going to call that as equation number 4. Now, once I get this V2, already I have defined the isentropic enthalpy drop for the nozzle. So, which is equation number 2, which is V1 square minus psi, where psi is the carryover coefficient, into V2 square divided by 2 times your nozzle efficiency. So, I will substitute for this V2. So, if I do that, so my equation will be delta, that is isentropic enthalpy for nozzle, is equal to V1 square minus psi into VR2 square into 1 plus pi 2 square minus 2 pi 2 into cos beta 2 divided by 2 times your nozzle. Okay. Now I have done this. So I am going to call that as equation number 5. Sorry, equation number 5. Now I am going to define the one more efficiency, which is called as vane efficiency or blade efficiency in terms of relative. So that is your relative energy, that is kinetic energy square due to relative, that is VR2 square minus VR1 square divided by 2 divided by isentropic enthalpy drop in the vane or blade. So if I do a little bit of cross multiplication, so your isentropic or your efficiency of the blade is equal to VR2 square minus VR1 square divided by 2 times your isentropic or isentropic enthalpy drop. Now, here I can write, see, I can write your, see, here if I try to consider your psi, if I try to consider your psi, so psi is nothing but carryover coefficient. So what I'm going to do, so here this equation, I can write in terms of psi, that is psi into VR1 square, that is your carryover coefficient, that is friction coefficient is considered. Is psi is considered. If psi is not considered, it would have been simply the VR2 square minus VR square, that is VR1. So there is no friction coefficient. That's the meaning of it. But if I go with this, actually psi, actually there is a little bit of friction coefficient. So I am calling that as equation number 6. Now I am going to consider the triangle ADB, that is inlet velocity triangle, and I want to write expression in terms of cosine alpha 1, that is cos alpha 1. Okay, if I want to write that, what will happen? So I can write it as, let me write that. Consider the triangle ADB. Let me write that. Consider the triangle ADB. Okay, so I can write as VR1. So let me go there. So VR1 square is equal to, okay, V1 square plus U square minus 2 VA1 into U into cos alpha 1. Okay, are you getting? So I'm going to write that is equal to V1 square plus U square minus 2 V1 U into cos alpha 1. Now already we know this. So already we have defined. So phi is the speed coefficient which is defined as U by V1, or I can write U is equal to phi into V1. So substitute for U in your this equation. So I can write it as, therefore, so this equation, that is phi into V1, wherever you have U, I am going to substitute it. So this will be VR1 square is equal to, so V1 square plus U, I will write it as phi square into V1 square minus 2V1 into phi into V1 into cos alpha 1. So here also I am going to get, it will be V1 square outside. Okay, I am going to get, this will become 1 plus phi square minus 2 into phi into cos alpha 1. I am going to call this as equation number 7. So I got all these things. So I got VR1. Now I will substitute for this VR1 in my blade efficiency. So substitute for VR1 square. Substitute for VR1 square in equation 6. So what will happen to your blade efficiency? Therefore, your blade or vane efficiency is equal to, so VR2 square as it is, so minus psi into V1 square into 1 plus phi square minus 2 into pi into cos alpha 1 whole thing divided by 2 times your isentropic enthalpy drop. This whole thing divided by 2 times your isentropic enthalpy drop for the blade or vane. Or I do a little bit of cross multiplication, that is delta H isentropic for the blade is equal to VR2 square minus psi into V1 square into 1 plus phi square minus 2 into pi into cos alpha 1 whole thing divided by 2 times your blade efficiency. So I am going to call this as equation number 8. So I got the expression for isentropic enthalpy drop for the blade, and the previously I got the expression. So equation 5. Equation 5 is the isentropic enthalpy drop for the nozzle or the stator, and equation 8 is the expression for isentropic enthalpy drop for the blade. Now what is your degree of reaction? So degree of reaction is equal to, so I know this actually. So you take this equation 4 and 5 and 8. Okay, I am going to take this equation 5 and 8 and put it over here. Okay, so this is the blade and the nozzle. I am going to substitute for this equation in your degree of reaction. Okay, I will write that. Substitute for the equation 5 and 8 in the degree of reaction equation. The degree of reaction equation. So therefore, your R, okay, therefore I can write your R is equal to, what is your this particular thing? This is actually, this will be VR2 square minus psi into V1 square into 1 plus phi square minus 2 into pi into cos alpha 1 divided by 2 times your blade efficiency, or 2 times your blade efficiency, divided by 2 times your blade efficiency, then this thing divided by, okay, then I have to put it for your nozzle, that is V1 square minus, okay, V1 square minus psi into VR2 square into 1 plus pi 2 square minus 2 pi 2 into cos beta 2 plus VR2 square minus psi into V1 square into 1 plus pi square minus 2 pi into cos alpha 1. So here I have to put 2 times your nozzle efficiency. So here I have to put 2 times your blade efficiency. Okay, I am going to substitute all those things. This is your degree of reaction. Now, so anyhow your 2 will just simply they cancel out. Okay, I am left with your blade efficiency and nozzle efficiency. Suppose your blade and nozzle efficiencies are almost same. Okay, for a same blade and nozzle efficiency. Okay, what will happen to this expression? This expression R is equal to, it will be simply VR2 square minus psi into V1 square into 1 plus phi square minus 2 pi into cos alpha 1 whole thing divided by V1 square minus psi into VR2 square into 1 plus phi 2 square minus 2 pi into cos beta 2 plus VR2 square minus pi into V1 square into 1 plus pi square minus 2 into pi into cos alpha 1. So I am going to call this as equation number 9. Okay, so this is what you are going to get it. So this is the expression for degree of reaction in terms of your speed ratio, in terms of your speed ratio at the maybe relative speed ratio and your carryover coefficient and your relative velocities and your maybe what we call absolute velocities. Okay, if I try to substitute all those things, you will be getting your degree of reaction. This is the expression for it. So this is the simplest way. Maybe if you go and refer to R. Yadav, I think he has used a different way of getting this kind of an expression. But you may end up with a very similar expression what I have got it. Okay, this is the expression for your degree of reaction, nozzle efficiency, blade efficiency, and the degree of reaction. Now let us try to obtain the expression for work done. Okay, is that clear? Any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay. Now I'm trying to do it in detail. So maybe once you go through it, this particular notes, you will be able to understand it. Okay. Now let us try to obtain the expression for the work done. Expression for the work done. Expression for the work done. Okay. Now, what is this W work done is equal to your VW1 minus VW2 into U. But here VW2 is in opposite direction, is in opposite direction. So it is negative. This the same thing which we have been using. So minus of minus, this will become plus. Okay, VW1 plus VW2 into U. If I think if you look to R Yadav, you will use something called as CW. Okay, delta CW is which is VW1 plus VW2. That's it. So only thing is notations are going to change. So let me call this as equation number 1. Okay. Now let us come to the inlet velocity triangle. From the inlet velocity triangle, we know VW1 is equal to V1 cos alpha, that is the tangential component. And I can take the exit value, that is ADF, from that particular cos beta 2. I can get it as VW2 plus U divided by VR2. So that VW2 is equal to VR2 cos beta 2 minus U. So I will substitute for VW1 and VW2 in that particular expressions. So let me go to the, from the velocity triangles, let me write that, from the velocity triangles, from the velocity triangles, I can write cos alpha 1 is equal to VW1 by V1, or I can write VW1 is equal to V1 cos alpha 1. So similarly, cos beta 2 is equal to VW2 plus U divided by VR2, or I can write VW2 is equal to VR2 cos beta 2 plus, if I take the other side, this will become minus. I got the equations for VW1 and VW2. So I am going to substitute this VW1 and VW2 in my work done expression. So substitute for VW1 and VW2 in equation 1. So therefore your W is equal to V1 cos alpha 1 plus VR2 cos beta 2 minus U, the whole thing multiplied by U. Okay. Now we know that already. Okay. If I want, I can try a substitute for, so already we know. So because phi is equal to U by V1, or I can write U is equal to phi into V1. I can substitute wherever you have U, I can substitute in terms of phi into V1. Okay, so this I can write it as, so therefore, let me open the bracket, therefore, so W is equal to, if I open the bracket, this will be V1 into U into cos alpha 1 minus VR2 into U into cos beta 2 minus U square. Okay, now substitute for this part. So therefore, your W is equal to V1 into phi into V1 into cos alpha 1 minus VR2 into phi into V1 into cos beta 2 minus phi square into V1 square. Okay, now I got this. So now if you look at it, actually, if you look at it, each and everything, what will happen? I can take my V1 square outside, because V1 into, let me write one more sentence, that will be your W is equal to V1 square into phi into cos alpha 1 minus VR2 into phi into V1 into cos beta 2 minus phi square into V1 square. Or I can simply take V1 square outside. So this will become phi into cos alpha 1. So I am taking one V1 outside. So this will be, I'll be, let me write it as plus, no? This is plus. Okay, if I take my, this will be plus. That is minus. This will be plus. So plus into VR2 into phi divided by V1 into cos beta 2 minus phi square. Minus phi square. So this is what I am going to get. Yeah. Now what is my VR2? Okay. So you know that phi 2 is equal to, okay, you know phi 2 is equal to u by VR2, or I can write VR2 is equal to, okay, u by phi 2 is equal to u by phi 2. So substitute for that actually. Substitute for VR2. Substitute for VR2 in this equation. So what I'm going to get actually? So then your W is equal to V1 square into phi into cos alpha 1 plus this will be VR2 will be u by phi 2 into phi divided by V1 into cos beta 2 minus phi square. Now what is phi actually? Phi you can take it as phi into V1. Okay, I write it as VR2 is equal to u by phi 2. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, this will be W is equal to V1 square outside phi into cos alpha 1 plus this will be phi into V1 into phi divided by phi 2 into V1 into cos beta 2 minus phi square, or so V1 just they cancel out. So your work done will be equal to V1 square into phi into cos alpha 1 plus phi square. Okay, if I take phi square, this will be cos beta 2 minus 1. Okay, cos beta 2 minus 1. So this will be the expression for your work done. So if you go back and see, we have taken that phi 2 is equal to whatever the expression we took, no, phi 2 is equal to, yeah, u by VR2. So all these expressions, whatever we use for the degree of reaction, that we are trying to use it for work done also. So this is your expression for work done. Let me call this equation number 2. Okay, this is equation number 2, which is the expression for your work done. Now, why I
Sir,
took this particular thing is, yeah,
sir, cos beta 2 by phi 2 is missing.
cos beta 2,
Divided by phi 2.
yeah, pi square by pi 2, yeah, pi square by, it's a, no, cos beta 2 by pi 2, yes, this is missing, by pi 2, yes, yeah, then pi 2 pi square, yeah, pi 2, yes, thank you. So pi 2 is missing. So pi cos beta 2 by pi 2 minus 1. Okay, that's fine. So this is the expression for work done. Now you have something called as gross stage efficiency. Okay, now you have something called as a gross stage. What is this gross stage efficiency? This is equal to work done divided by your isentropic enthalpy drop in the nozzle plus isentropic enthalpy drop in the blade. If I try to add the both, then whatever you are going to get, that is your gross stage efficiency. So let me write for that. So the gross stage efficiency, let me write that. The gross stage efficiency, the gross stage efficiency, the gross stage efficiency is equal to, okay, gross stage efficiency is equal to work done divided by, that is, the gross stage efficiency is equal to your work done divided by, okay, isentropic enthalpy drop in the nozzle plus isentropic enthalpy drop in the vane or blade. Okay, let me write for each and everything. Just now we found work done. So work done is equal to V1 square into, this is phi into cos alpha 1 plus phi square into cos beta 2 by phi 2 minus 1. This is your work done. Okay, then what is your isentropic enthalpy drop? That is nozzle, that is V1 square minus psi into, okay, psi into VR2 square into 1 plus pi 2 square minus 2 pi 2 into cos beta 2 divided by 2 times your nozzle plus, this is actually VR2 square, okay, VR2 square minus pi into, sorry, psi into V1 square into 1 plus pi square minus 2 into pi into cos alpha 1 divided by 2 times your blade efficiency. This is the expression for your gross stage efficiency. Let me call that as equation number 3 or whatever it may be. Okay, it's a bit with a lengthier expression and a complex expressions. So this is your expression for the gross stage efficiency. See what we are trying to do, we are trying to write the expression for isentropic enthalpy drop in the nozzle, isentropic enthalpy drop for the blade, then trying to put it in your degree of reaction, then from the degree of reaction we are trying to obtain the expression for the work done, then we are trying to obtain the expression for your gross stage efficiency. Everything we are trying to write in terms of maybe your psi or pi or whatever it may be. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so this is your expressions, what we got it, maybe a general one. Now, as I told that uh, most of the reactions turbines, steam turbines, what we see in power plants, it is actually 50% degree of friction. And to be very precise, it is of Parsons reaction type. Okay, so Parsons reaction turbine, which has been extensively used. That means we will take a particular, see, what we are trying to do is we are trying to study the impulse reaction turbine. Now we will take as one of the case study, that is impulse reaction turbine with, see, what is the advantage of Parsons reaction turbine? the blade sections are similar and the degree of reaction is 50%. Okay, the Parsons degree of reaction turbine we are going to consider actually. Let me write that. Impulse reaction turbine with similar blade sections. Impulse reaction turbine, impulse reaction turbine with similar blade section, with similar blade section, and the degree of reaction is equal to half or 0.5. So this kind of velocity maybe the turbines which we have to do it. Now, what is the thing actually? That means we all know that, see, there are certain things. If I take the steam, we all know that with a decrease in the pressure, the specific volume will increase. That's a known fact. That's one thing. And we have to look at the drop in the heat. Okay. See what will happen if I consider a turbine is something like this. Let me consider the turbine. So this is because it's expanding because of the expansion of this, or the steam pressure is dropping. So this is what I have. This is my shaft. So let me put a shaft actually. Okay. Let me put a shaft, and in the shaft I want to put the your blade, rotor, stator. I want to put it. Let me put it. Okay. This is what I have. So on this, I'll be having the stator and rotor. So now, if I consider the stator is fixed to your state. These are my stator blades. Look at this. So whatever I am drawing in the blue color, they are stator blades. Okay, they are all stator blades. Let me put some 2 stator blades and 2 sets of rotor blades. Okay, then I will be having the rotor blades. The rotor blades are fixed to your shaft. This is my rotor. So I'm not drawing any aerofoil, all those things and all. Just trying to show. This is my rotor. This is my rotor. Okay. So stator, rotor. These are stators. These are my rotors. Okay. If you want, I can put the corresponding blade sections also. If I try to put it over here, the corresponding blade sections for one set I will try to write. Okay. This is for the one stator and one rotor. So the stator, I may be having something like this. This is also having something like this. This is my stator, and for the rotor, it may be something like this. This is for my rotor. So I have the stator and rotor, something like this. So I have a 2-stage and all. Now what is the thing here actually? When I go for the moment I tell R is equal to 0.5, see your flow angles, your alpha 1 will be equal to your beta 2. That means your flow angle at the inlet will be equal to the blade exit angle. Why this particular thing actually? See, this all because of your degree of reaction. I want to ensure that my degree of reaction remains at whatever is the condition, it should remain 0.5. If my degree of reaction is 0.5, so then everything is fine. Okay, that means 50% is happening in the rotor and 50% draw, maybe the conversion taking place in the maybe a stator. So when these things are equally divided, what you are going to get is the degree of reaction will be at the 50%. And also maybe the blade speed ratio, if we take it, which is used to be blade speed ratio, which used to vary from one row to other row. Okay, if this particular thing which varies, then degree of reaction also will vary. I'm speaking of other turbines. Okay, when you speak of maybe other impulse reaction turbine, so the blade speed ratio, even though your blade speed is constant, but your blade speed ratio used to change. But in case of your Parsons turbine, if your degree of reaction is constant, your blade speed ratio also will be constant. Okay. Now, if I try to put the velocity triangle for this, if I try to put the velocity triangle for this, it's something like this. So let me take the same velocity triangle and copy it. Okay, now look at this velocity triangle. We'll try to write few things. Okay, now A, B, C, D, everything I have written. Now, see, you have your VRC here. What is this actually? Parsons turbine means this triangles. Let me paint this way, and you'll understand. Okay, see, the Parsons turbine advantage is actually this is what we are going to see. So this triangle, the yellow one, and I try to take the pink one. Let me take a pink color. Okay. This triangle will be same. So this triangle and this triangle, that means both are exactly, one is the mirror image of the other. Okay. One triangle is the mirror image of the other triangle. So under these conditions, that is when R is equal to 50%, when one is the mirror image of the other thing, what I can write from the velocity triangles, I can write your VR or V1 is equal to your VR2. That is VR2 is equal to V1. Okay, then VR1 is equal to VR1 is equal to V2, or I can write alpha 1 is equal to beta 2 and alpha 2 is equal to beta 1. So these conditions prevail whenever you have R is equal to 0.5 for all Parsons turbine. What it is actually, that means the triangle ADB is equal to triangle ADF. Okay, the triangle ADB is equal to triangle ADE. ADF actually, okay, ADF. So when these triangles are same, I am going to get this kind of conditions. Okay, this kind of conditions. So already I told that. So these conditions prevail. What is it actually? The specific volume will increase with a decrease in the pressure. So these things, let me write that. Those things are very important. The specific volume of the steam will increase with the decrease in the pressure. So these things are very common in most of the turbines, but impulse reaction turbine, it becomes very specific. The second thing, the heat drop, the heat drop per stage. Okay, heat drop per stage. Maybe when I compare to the previous stage, it slowly increase. That is, the heat drop in first stage heat drop in second stage. Okay, the heat drop in each stages, heat drop per stage when compared to the preceding stage will be increasing. The heat drop per stage when compared to the preceding or earlier stage. Okay, earlier stages it increases. So they keep on increasing. Increasing. Third one. See, I told that blade speed ratio. See, your speed may be same, your blade speed may be same, but the blade speed ratio used to change. The blade speed ratio used to change. But here the blade speed ratio has to remain constant. Okay. So the blade speed ratio, the blade speed ratio, so which used to vary from one row to another row. Okay, because of this actually the R used to vary. R used to vary. Now that will remain constant. R used to vary. Now that will remain constant. The moving blade, see, to be very precise, when you try to look at this, see, when I try to look at these quantities, okay, when I try to look at those quantities, I can write the moving and the fixed blades are having same blade cross sections or same blade sections. Okay, the moving or the rotating, blades, okay, moving or rotating blades and the fixed blades, okay, are having the same blade sections, These are some of the important points you have to consider when you try to obtain the expressions for your other factors, because we are trying to deal with the what we call as impulse reaction turbine with R is equal to 0.5. Okay, when we go with this R is equal to 0.5, so what remains same? Say 50% of reaction. What it is actually, it all depends on your your flow angles, alphas actually. Maybe I will try to show some plots and all. If I try to put a blade efficiency on y-axis and try to put the what x, maybe your cos alpha, okay, cos alpha something, at a particular point, this blade efficiency will go to the maximum. But for an impulse turbine, maybe where I'm so it may, so you might have seen that maybe in the impulse turbine, the blade efficiency will go to the maximum when the cos alpha 1 by 2, that is cos alpha by 2. Hope you remember that. And this will be minimum at whenever you have cos alpha, see, those things are 0. That means I'm going to get something like a simple parabola or something like that. But for a reaction turbine, this is not the case. So this may be going beyond your cos alpha 1. That means your blade efficiencies will be much higher than your simple impulse machine. Okay, we will try to obtain the expression for blade efficiency, all those things. Then we'll try to compare it. So impulse machine, what it is, and for a reaction machine, what it is. So those things, if you want to